Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. AFCC recovers over 500 billion naira in assets in 2017, says late release of budgetary allocations to the agency is hampering its operations. Former spokesman of the PDP, Olisa Metu, gets 1 month relief. His court adjourns his money laundering trial after he appeared in court on a stretcher. Industrial action by non-academic staff of universities takes toll on institutions as unions plan demonstration at the National Assembly tomorrow. And protesters hit the streets in South Africa as pressure mounts on President Jacob Zuma to resign. Now, for more on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. Also, log on to m.channelstv.com to watch us on your mobile device or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows devices from their respective stores. The Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You'll also have access to the Eyewitness feature with which you can share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and then follow the instructions. And here are the pictures and video you sent in, beginning with this one from Toronto in Canada, showing people whom our eyewitness reporter describes as Africans hoisting flags of different countries during the Black History Month celebration. According to our eyewitness reporter, the event is annual and celebrates black heroes and emphasizes the importance of equality, racial tolerance, and the fight against the slave trade. Back here in Nigeria is this image from Ado-Odota, local government area of Ogun State, showing people whom our eyewitness reporter says are registering for their voter cards ahead of the 2019 general elections. He expresses satisfaction of the turnout and wants the process made easier than it is to encourage others. Finally is this image from the airport roundabout in Ikeja, the Lagos State capital, showing this woman whom our eyewitness reporter describes as a police officer running after a moving car. Our eyewitness reporter says the woman had her cap blown away in the course of running. And that's it tonight. Remember, you too can put your area in the news by reporting happenings around you. All you have to do is download Channels TV's free apps from Play Store, follow the instructions, and there you are. And now to take a further look at this issue of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities strike action, I'm being joined live from our studios in Abuja by the spokesperson of the Joint Action Committee of the striking unions, Mr. Moshood Akiade. Good evening, Mr. Akiade. Thanks for joining us on the News at 10.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
The strike declared by your unions has lasted for several weeks now, and tomorrow you say you're going to the National Assembly. Are you achieving the desired objectives of this strike?
Well, it's because we could not achieve the desired objectives. Prior to 2009, we started agitation for review of the conditions of service. After about 3 years, we signed an agreement with the government, with the federal government, on 31st January 2011. Arising from the agreement, 7 issues resulted into implementation. And this implementation on the issues include payment of 12 months arrears arising from 53.37%, wage increase granted to Nigerian workers. And I want to say that as of today, only workers in research institutions are yet to be paid these arrears. Other issues emanating from the agreement is skipping of Conrise 10, retirement age of 65, request for establishment of NARICON, a central body that will cater for research institutes, implementation of that agreement, and also the release of negotiated conditions of service. Since that time, between 2010 and November 2017, we have had 33 meetings with the federal government without any success.
At this point, I'm sorry, I have to come in here and ask the question. You're taking the protest to the National Assembly tomorrow. What's the purpose for that? Why are you doing that? What are you trying to achieve with that?
Well, the purpose is to alert the nation and to also alert the National Assembly. And I want to recall that on December 4, the House Committee on Agriculture, Colleges and Institutions invited us to a meeting and also invited the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Ministry of Labor and Employment, and other officials from the various ministries. And at that meeting, we stated our case, we presented the paper, and at that meeting also, the Minister of Agriculture pleaded with the House Committee that he will want to have another meeting with us. And on the 7th of December 2017, we had a meeting with the Minister of Labor, with the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development. And they asked for explanation. We gave explanations. The minister agreed with us that since most of the issues have been agreed to by the dissolved Federal Executive Council, that wouldn't be a problem. And at that meeting also, the accountant who did the compilation of 12 months arrears was present at that meeting. The letter, the letter which they said, the memo they sent to the Federal Executive Council, which they said they could not trace in the Ministry of Agriculture and Development, but they told us they could trace the remainder. And if they could trace the remainder, then why could they not trace the real issue? So the minister promised that with that information given to him, he will, from time to time, brief us on the development. And as at 23rd of January, we have to write another letter to the Honorable Minister, reminding him of his promises, of what he told us at the meeting of December 7. And as at today, the minister has not responded even to that letter. And the action taken by the ministry has not been made known to us.
Is at this point that I'm going to again have to interrupt you, Mr. Akiade. We've completely run out of time, yes. But we thank you for your time, for joining us on the News at 10, and we look forward to seeing what the outcome of your protest to the National Assembly is tomorrow. Mr. Moshood Akiade, of course, is the spokesperson of the Joint Negotiating Unions at the universities. And staying in the university system, a protest by some students of the Modibo Adama University of Technology in Yola, Adamawa State, has gone bad. The demonstration, which was meant to be peaceful, became deadly when some aggrieved students reportedly took laws in their own hands by violently protesting against the results of the Students' Union election. Officials of the institution have, however, denied any religious coloration to the incident. To security matters now, suspected Boko Haram insurgents have killed at least one person and injured several others in an attack on Kala village opposite Dalori IDP camp in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. The State Emergency Management Agency head of response, Bello Dambatao, confirmed the attack, says the terrorists invaded the community late last night, burning down buildings. They also reportedly captured one of the residents whom they set ablaze. The injured victims are receiving treatment at the Maiduguri Specialist Hospital. The theater commander of Operation Lafia Dole had on Saturday said that Boko Haram had been completely defeated, with hundreds of the insurgents surrendering and several others on the run. A former commissioner for information in Edo State and media aid to former military president General Ibrahim Babangida, Mr. Kassim Afegbua, has been declared wanted by the police. In a text message sent to Channels Television, the police spokesman, Moshood Jimo, says, quote, "The IGP has ordered the arrest of Kassim Afegbua for making false statements, defamation of character, and for an act capable of inciting public disturbance throughout the country. He is therefore declared wanted by the Nigerian police force and should report at the nearest police station anywhere he is in the country," end of quote. Mr. Afegbua yesterday released a statement credited to the former military president, allegedly asking President Muhammadu Buhari not to recontest the presidency in the year 2019. The spokesman asked Mr. Afegbua to report to the nearest police station. And now time to change our focus now and move on to Abuja, where Gloria Ume Ezeoke is standing by. Hi, Gloria.
Hello, Ladi. Health officials in Cross River State have confirmed 4 suspected cases of Lassa fever in the state, with one of the suspects, who is a pregnant woman, pronounced dead. The Cross River State Commissioner for Health, Mr. Inyang Achibong, who confirmed the incident, told Channels Television that the pregnant woman was transferred to the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital because of her critical condition. The deceased is said to have come from Taraba State and was first admitted at the Nigerian Navy Hospital along Moore Road, Calabar, before being transferred to the intensive care unit of the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital. She explains that blood samples of the deceased has been taken for proper diagnosis, assuring that measures have been put in place to avoid further spread. Meanwhile, the federal government has summoned an emergency meeting of state commissioners of health to discuss a new approach to addressing the menace of Lassa fever outbreak, which has spread to 15 states. A total of 61 confirmed cases of Lassa fever and 16 deaths, including health workers, have been recorded since December 2017, when the recent outbreak was reported. In the last 3 months, both the federal and state governments have struggled with how best to curtail the spread of Lassa fever in the country. In spite of the several strategies adopted by some states, Lassa fever continues to ravage 15 states across Nigeria, even though the government says the outbreak was anticipated. At the instance of the Minister of Health, this emergency meeting with commissioners of health is holding in Abuja to brainstorm on how to prevent further spread of the disease.
By August 2017, we had Lassa fever training course. And October, we procured PPEs and ribavirin for use in emergencies. So we prepared for it because we knew it could come. And so we prepared for this. The question is, why did we fail?
Since December 2017, when the recent outbreak was reported, a total of 61 confirmed cases and 16 deaths have been recorded. Health workers contend strongly that there is an urgent need for states to do more.
Lassa fever is not new, but this year what was more tragic was the passing away of our colleagues, health workers, while attending patients. That was something that shouldn't have happened. We believe that next time this could be avoided, particularly sacrificing our health workers, because some basic equipments and protective gears are not available.
If you have agricultural sector that is battling with supporting farmers to make sure that they don't dry food items during drying season in open places, these are mandates that are beyond their sector. And so for me, what we need to do is to clamor more for a multi-sectoral approach.
Lassa fever is an acute hemorrhagic fever that is endemic in various West African countries, including Nigeria. When the news at 10 returns, Shell Nigeria says production of Bonga's crude oil output on rise after brief shutdown. That's in business news. Please join us again.